morning, CWS ambassadors, supporters, and champions of change. My name is Chris Brancato, and I have the joy of being the Director of Individual Giving for CWS. I'm so proud to sit here before all of you today and welcome you to our first ever CWS Giving Day. Today, we are commemorating and celebrating 78 years of impact in our communities globally. And we're also raising funds for a very important cause, our Emergency Response Fund. This fund allows us to act immediately when disaster strikes. When you give, you join our CWS staff around the world on the front line. And you can make a profound difference today and save and transform lives across the United States and around the world. We're really excited to let you know that every donation made today until we cross $100,000 is doubled. It's matched 1 for 1. So a generous donor has made sure that every gift that is given today is doubled. So double your impact and support us today. And you can support us by visiting cwsglobal.org/giving day. And that link will be dropped in our chats. Right now at 10 a.m. Eastern, we are over $47,000 raised. So we're almost halfway to our goal. And we have 7 new monthly donor signups. So we're excited about the progress so far, and we still have more work to do. So throughout the day, we're going to be joining you, and we're going to be welcoming on different guests, and we're really excited about this Giving Day ahead. I'd like to bring on my colleague now, Mary Catherine Hines. Mary Catherine, how are you this morning? Good morning.
Hey, Chris, I'm great. I'm so excited that Giving Day is here. I'm just giddy.
It is a great day. So really excited to see a video that you're about to present and hear from some of our staff at CWS.
Great. Yeah, so as you said, the Giving Day supports our Emergency Response Fund, and we have a wonderful video that we're going to start out with from our work in Kenya. I was there in December, and then we've got some staff that are going to come on who were there in February, and this video is going to show some of the amazing and life-saving work that we were able to do thanks to our donors and supporters. So we'll queue up that video and show you your work in action in Kenya.
Tano Rover County is a county that is situated in the coastal part of Kenya, and it's a county that experiences both floods and drought. CWS, when they work with a community that is distressed or has suffered disaster, we don't just walk away. We continue to work with those communities to the next level. And we have continued working with those communities up to December last year, when they had actually recovered from the floods that happened in 2018. Then suddenly, they had floods on December 7th, and the floods washed away everything that they had. All the gains they had made were taken away in a matter of seconds. Majority of them were displaced, and as we speak, in internally displaced people camps, IDP camps.
This is a camp where the people have been displaced to, those who are affected by the floods in Tano River. They have all camped around here, and today we are here to support them with some food rations.
During the food distribution time, we had a family that wanted us to go and share the food that we had given them, because the mother was saying that her kids had not eaten since morning, and he had been waiting for this food. And when we got to the house, actually, the mother quickly put a fire together and started cooking the food. And the kids from nowhere, they all came in, and the amount of gratitude that we saw in that house was really big. Everyone was very grateful. As the porridge was being cooked, there were other neighbors who were already coming and saying, will I get a cup? But There's this specific woman who came in and he was expectant and said, I don't want to take the porridge here. I want you to give me a little flour so that I take home to my kids because they have also not had something. Because in that particular case, we had just reached to 630 households in a community that has over 3,000 people. And what this told me is that yes, we are providing emergency response, we are supporting families, but we still need more resources to reach to more people.
Wow. Yeah, it's great that we were there, but like Mary said, there are more people to help. And but we say we were there, CWS was there, but we actually have some colleagues who were there on that day. You might have seen them in the background. So I'd like to bring a couple of them in to join us this morning. So we have Erin Luchenbill. Hi, Erin.
Good morning.
And I think we might have Andrew Gifford if he's there. Yep. Oh, there's Andrew. I knew Andrew is.
I'm here.
Yeah, Andrew. We knew Andrew was traveling not to Kenya, but somewhere in the Midwest. But thanks for joining us, both of you. So I was actually there in Tano River right when the floods happened, and I remember Mary saying, we've got to do something. Everything's been wiped away. We need to do something. And then you two were able to go in February and actually do the something. So, and to be able to be a part of that response. So, so either of you can answer any of these questions. I know, Andrew, you're in a loud place, so maybe we'll lean towards Erin, and then Andrew, you can add some color commentary. But so tell us what the day was like when you were there handing out, and what were you providing?
Yeah, the day was an overwhelming and humbling experience overall. For context, it was hot. It was very, very hot. And there were so many people. We went to several different villages to distribute food. And there were so many people at each village waiting for food, more people at the villages than food we were distributing. And we were distributing maize flour, porridge flour, or like a porridge meal. It's got like sugar, it's several things added so you can make it right away. Mung beans, which are like a lentil bean, cooking oil, salt. I think those were the things that we distributed. And based on the family size and need, there was different amounts of rations that each family or household was receiving. And so people, a lot of the CWS Nairobi, Kenya staff had already arranged things. So who was getting the food was already predetermined, and there were cards that had been passed out that told how much they were getting on each card. So it was very organized, and all the food was distributed out onto a big tarp. And then people would line up, and we were there to help just check the cards to make sure that everyone had the food they were supposed to get, because they needed all of that food. Mm-hmm. And then we could check that, and then people would help them carry the flour or the bags. And I should say Andrew was a rock star because, again, it was very hot, and these bags of maize flour were ginormous, and just lugging them on the shoulder to get them to everywhere.
Yeah. I didn't know, Andrew, you were one of the manual labor heavy lifters. That's a big deal, because I see in the comments that Heather said it was 102 degrees that day.
Yeah, it was exceptionally hot. And, the thing is that I kept reminding myself as we were moving the bags was, I'm here for a moment. This is the life that the people that we're working with are experiencing every day. And it is exceptionally hot there, and year-round, from my understanding, too. I mean, they do get respites of it, but that definitely helped keep me motivated as I was covered in maize flour and sweat and all of the above. But it was really rewarding, like Erin said. I want to emphasize that, how wonderful it was, and just knowing. I know one of the things too, and I might be jumping ahead too, is these are communities that we work with long-term beyond just this distribution, and seeing how this was able just to be a stopgap to really help them sustain during this period of emergency, of crisis, while we kind of reassessed and help them continue on. But yeah, Erin had the important job though. She was actually doing processing, so I was just the manual labor. But it was great. It was a really great experience.
That's great. Yeah, I did hear. So, Erin, you were doing processing. Can you share a little bit what that meant, what you were doing?
Yeah. So the people that received the rations had this card. And so as they lined up, we received the card and checked for the food. And then we had to check it just to show that they got that, hand that back, and then make sure the food got taken to the right place. And so that was really what it was. But there was so much that we were distributing. I mean, it was quite the organized process to make sure that everyone got their food in a timely manner, because we did need to make multiple stops in that day to visit all the villages and get all of the food distributed. And then we actually did a few more the second day. So it was a 2-day process to get all of the food distributed to the different villages that needed that.
I heard that at the end of the first day, Andrew and the other schleppers were told, you can go on and go back, but we really want Erin and Heather to stay because you're doing such a great job with the processing that you two continue.
Yes. Heather, my colleague Heather, and I got to do one extra distribution from everyone else to help make that happen. And we were more than happy to do it. It was such an honor to be part of that process and distributing food. You know, at the very beginning of the day, we were meeting as a staff, and they were kind of just orienting us to the villages and what happened. And some of the village leaders were sharing with us, today we're hungry. And so it was just really humbling to be there and be able to help distribute that food. And we went the next day, we had another meeting with them. And those same village leaders said, today our bellies are full. And that was just incredible.
That's amazing. That right there is a tangible result of the support of so many who give to CWS. So, you know, we're so grateful to the two of you and everyone who went to visit and assist and work alongside those communities over those days that you were there. So you worked with these people at the start of the day. Many of them said they were hungry. At the end, their bellies were full. Can you share some other experiences? How did the people feel? What did they tell you as you were helping them? What kind of response did you get from those individuals in those communities?
You know, on the day of, I think there wasn't as much interaction. Some people, as you give them the food, would look and smile. Others didn't. And I think that that's all appropriate. For me, it was really the next day when we were back again in some of the villages, and they were touring. We were getting to see some of the other projects that Church World Service has helped in the past through chickens and beehives and goats. And so learning about those projects, and what they kept saying is, you are our friend. So this is I should put context. This area, the Tano River County where we did the food distribution, it's the poorest county in Kenya. And it's pretty remote. I mean, it's not pretty, it's very remote. It's very difficult to get there. And the flooding made it even worse. You saw in the video some of what the roads, that was real. And that was long. Those roads looked like that for a very long time to get to the villages. And there aren't other nonprofits there. We were the only one. And so what they would share, so on the food distribution day, there wasn't as much interaction, but that next day, multiple people would say, you are our friend. Thank you for being there. We pray for you. We are so grateful for you. And that was, again, I mean, humbling. I know I keep saying that, but that's how that was to hear those words.
Yeah, I think one specifically, and I mean, this was really moving in here, and I know we both wrote this one down, but we thank God for Church World Service. We thank for sending you here. And, you know, the thing is that I kept reminding myself was it was our incredible colleagues there in Kenya who were organizing all of this, like the months of preparation that they had to do, the amount of work that they did, because that was something that we talked about, you know, on those bumpy roads that Erin mentioned. You know, it took a long time to get there, but they were explaining to us the process of doing a distribution like this and kind of the resources that it takes, and, you know, how they tried to work very quickly, but, you know, sometimes it just wasn't possible. Hopefully it can be more possible to work quicker through, you know, giving days like today. But, you know, the thing is, I mean, that was really, really nice to see how good they are at what they do. You know, they're really doing wonderful work that's truly helping so many people.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, they are, when they say CWS is our friend, they're really thinking these our team in Africa that's there, that has been there, walking alongside them for decades, and they are there as proxy for all of us who donate and who support CWS. Yeah, I was really struck because I was there also right before y'all, and I was struck that this region for many, many years has vacillated back and forth between flood and drought and flood and drought. And in the middle of all of those different disasters that CWS has helped to respond, in the middle of all of those, we've been doing the livelihood works, like you mentioned, Erin. So helping the community become beekeepers or chicken farmers. And the thing that struck me is that the resilience that has been built up within these communities, that yes, that there was a setback from this most recent flood, but they're going to bounce back faster because of that ongoing development work that we've been doing. So really great that CWS is both an emergency response organization, but also long-term development. So, and I know both of you fundraise for both of those. So yeah, really exciting to see. Erin?
Yeah. So on that, one of my, just from the entire trip in Kenya, but one of my big takeaways is how much the core of the Church World Service work is about community engagement and community building. So it's we might distribute hives to help with beekeeping or provide a gift of goats, but it's really about helping communities come together and learn to work together. And in this area in the Tano River, it's got quite a different ethnicities. It's near the Somali border. You have different religious backgrounds that are all there. And they shared with us, before Church World Service came, we fought with each other. But after Church World Service came and started working on this community engagement kind of process, they start working together. And so during when the flooding came in December, all of the goats, they didn't lose any goats. They did lose chickens and hives a lot, but they worked together, and all the men were able to get the goats up to higher ground, working together. And then the women got the children to safety. And that's, to me, so much of what Church World Service is this community engagement, so that they have resilience when a natural disaster strikes. And that was really powerful.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Just the togetherness that you saw within these communities that otherwise had been just totally disjointed before. It was really, really powerful to see and really interesting to see, and hearing people up in these groups. And like Erin said, the resiliency because of that was just incredible. They, as Erin mentioned, they lost hives, but there was no concern about that. It was they'll come back. We've got a plan. That was the thing that was really, really cool to see. Really, really cool.
Great. Yeah. So you may give. I guess an emergency food ration is about $53. So you give $53 and you're helping provide emergency food. But all of those $25, $50, $100 gifts that you've given in the past, we're building the community that then also could respond together at a disaster. So all those crop hunger walks before, they were paying it forward to build a community that could help themselves in lots of ways. So your gifts have kind of a ripple effect, a downstream effect when you give. Those are great examples. I hadn't really thought about the whole community building as sort of a disaster risk reduction component of our work.
And I will say, supporting the Emergency Response Fund, it does allow to feed bellies right away. But there's a second part to this response that we were doing. We were distributing food in February, but the Church World Service Kenya staff were planning to come back when it was planting season to distribute seeds, so that because they lost all their crops from that flood, so that they will be able to plant again and again build more resilience. And so that's the second part of this response.
I think that's a really important component of the CWS work, that because we're not just a response agency and not just a development agency, our emergency response has a long-term vision. So what we're doing in the immediate is going to be appropriate and build upon for that long-term recovery. That's a great point, Erin.
It's not just coming in and then leaving. We're there for the long term, which is so personally inspiring to me.
So Anything else about how you felt being a part of this, or anything else you'd like to share with those who donate to the Emergency Response Fund, and how they might feel if they were there with you?
Well, I think it might be helpful, just again for context, to start. You can see the video pictures, but in terms of understanding how high the flooding was, the staff were telling us, the Church World Service staff, that this was the worst flooding that they'd seen in a very, very long time. And I'm 5'8". And when we could see the watermarks on the trees, it was up to my shoulders. That's how high the water got. So it truly, like, literally was wiping out areas. And so they were recovering and working together on that. But it was devastating. And I think that's, for me, why it was so powerful. I personally am very motivated by Church World Service because of long-term impacts. That's what motivates me. But it was really humbling, and really it was an honor and privilege to be there to also make sure that people had food immediately when they needed it.
And I'll chime in, and I know it's a little bit noisy around me, but the thing that really struck me specifically was after the fact, we did a big debrief about everything that we saw back at the Nairobi office. And something that our colleague Mary, who was featured in the video, shared with us was that we, because we were wondering, talking, this flood happened in November, December. We're not responding now till February. She said if we had more flexibility in the funds, we could have responded sooner. And for me as a fundraiser, that was a little bit of a fire under my bum to, do something about that, because we need to provide more flexibility. And that's why I think I'm so excited about this day today too, because this is an opportunity for us to give our program work in Kenya, all over the world, here in the US, everywhere, to be able to respond like they need to, and like they're such experts at doing. And so I just that was a bit of a motivator to me, something that I was like, it was very moving to be there in person, but then after the fact, during the debrief, it's like, okay, we got to do something. We can make this better. We can do this better.
Yeah, we don't want to have to say, sorry, you're hungry. Wait, so we can go fundraise, and we'll be back to feed you. Like, this Emergency Response Fund enables us to be there within hours. Thanks, Andrew. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Erin and Andrew, we're so grateful to you both for joining us today, for the great work you do. We're a special word of thanks to Mary Obiero and all of our staff across Africa and around the world, and the communities who we work with, everybody who we collaborate with, and all of our donors who make it all possible and who join us on the front lines when we're doing this incredible work and standing alongside these amazing communities. So just a word of thanks again to you both, and to everybody who's supporting us today and throughout the year. So very, very grateful.
Great. And if you didn't see the video at the beginning, it's on our CWS page. You can go look under videos, and it should be there. It's on our YouTube channel. So it's a great video. Hope that you will watch that again and see the great work that we referenced from the beginning of the show. Thanks, Erin. Thanks, Andrew. Chris, what's next for us?
Well, we're excited. We are going to be here throughout the day, standing alongside our donors and our communities. And at 12 o'clock, our CEO, Rick Santos, is going to join us for a question and answer session. So we're grateful to him for taking time out of his schedule to join us today. 12 o'clock across all of our social channels. We will be back. We hope that you join us. We hope that you contribute today. Again, $100,000 is the goal. Every donation today only, until we reach that goal, will be matched 1 for 1. It'll be doubled. So again, visit our website to give, and again, you'll stand alongside these communities like that in the Tano River County. So grateful to all of our supporters, all of our donors who are giving today, and looking forward to seeing you again at 12.
Great. Good. Hopefully folks will go give a lot and sign up to be monthly partners, and then we'll be able to announce an even bigger total at noon. Thanks, everybody. See you then.
See you then. Thank you.